My AP literature teacher failed every essay I wrote with 10% while giving A's to students whose parents paid for his private tutoring, and it was destroying our college applications. A quarter of the way through my senior year, our AP literature teacher went on medical leave and was replaced by a certain Mr. Jenkins. Suddenly with him, I was failing all my tests. And I don't mean 25% because I didn't study. I mean from straight A's to 10% despite doing what I always was. Your essay seems plagiarized. You're lucky I'm not expelling you, he'd say about an assignment he saw me handcraft in front of him. Even stranger, when I compared essays with high-scoring students, even they'd tell me mine was better. Then I noticed the pattern. Mr. Jenkins offered after-school tutoring, and all the kids whose parents paid for it, they got the high marks. The rest of us just filled out the bell curve. I decided to put my theory to the test. Next assignment, I produced my best work yet. I got help from a professor at a community college. I paid for Grammarly Premium. Even ran it through every online grader I could find. Mr. Jenkins gave me 18%, but instead of just leaving his class how he expected, I pulled out my previous essays from our old teacher. I asked him to tell me what changed, and his response made my blood boil. Your previous teacher was too lenient. My standards prepare you for college reality. He started to add something. The only students who succeed in my class are ones who, he caught himself mid-sentence, his face flushing, then dismissed me. Within weeks, my GPA crashed from 4.0 to 3.2. I watched my dream schools slip away, but the valedictorian Yvette kept defending Jenkins for some reason. During one lunch discussion about it, she snapped at our group. You don't know him like, you don't know his teaching methods. She cut herself off strangely, her face reddening. My parents went nuclear at the parent-teacher conference. My mom was practically shaking. My son went from straight A's to failing overnight. Explain that. Other parents piled on. That's when things got weird. Jenkins leaned over and whispered something to Principal Wood. I watched the principal's hands literally start shaking. Then completely unprompted, he said, let's not make this a legal matter. Nobody had mentioned lawyers. The meeting ended with explanations about curriculum changes and competitive year groups. After that, things actually got worse. Jenkins started announcing my grades publicly. 10%. Disappointing as usual. My third rejection letter arrived on a Tuesday. This one was from my safety school. That's when I cracked. I enrolled in his tutoring, but A's weren't the only reason I joined. You see, right before joining, I sent multiple essays that Jenkins failed to the literature professor I knew. His grading email came a week later, right as Jenkins started giving me A's. These are minimum 80%. The original grading is either incompetent or criminal. Armed with this, I went straight to Jenkins during his office hours. I laid out the professor's evaluations, but he barely glanced at them. Different teachers, different standards. That professor doesn't understand my rubric. Your rubric that gives 10% to essays that other professionals rate at 85%? If you have a problem, take it up with administration. So I did. My parents and I met with Principal Wood for the third time the next day. This time we had the professor's grades and the sudden A's. Wood shifted in his seat. I understand your frustrations, he began, but Mr. Jenkins is a respected educator. I can't override his academic judgment based on one outside opinion. Then get more opinions, my dad shot back. Have the department review these. That's not how we handle grading disputes. My mom leaned forward. Then how do we handle teachers taking bribes for grades? Wood's face went red. That's a serious accusation. Without proof? The proof is right there. She pointed at the papers. Every kid who pays gets A's. Every kid who doesn't fails. Correlation isn't causation. Wood pushed the papers back. If you continue finding problems, I'll have to ask you to leave. I ended up sharing the professor's grading with the rest of the class. And over the next 2 weeks, 7 other families had a meeting with Wood. Everyone was dismissed the same way. That's when Mrs. Lapp, whose daughter lost Columbia, created a Facebook group with all the parents whose kids were screwed over. She typed the magic words, school board. The next meeting was 3 weeks away. They started organizing, created docs with evidence. Someone even hired an independent education auditor who confirmed the statistical impossibility of the grade